Howdy all, lovely to see you all again. Today we're going to be looking at the second solo in the Four Horsemen by Metallica. Let's take a look. Alright guys, let's take a look at the first section. I want to start from 12 of the 6th string. I'm going to play 12 there, 13 of the 5th, and 14 of the 4th. Gross tritone sound there. We're going to do exactly the same thing from the 5th string. So I'm going to play 12 of the 5th, 13 of the 4th, and then 14 of the 3rd. We're just going to carry this shape down again to the 4th string. So 12 of the 4th, 13 of the 3rd, and 14 of the 2nd. And then finally, really gross on this last one. 12 of the 3rd, 13 of the 2nd, and 14 of the 1st. So all together. And we're kind of working through those as a triplet thing. That kind of vibe. Now the next little pattern I do is a group of 6 notes. We do exactly the same 6 notes 8 times in a row. Now I saw something similar to this in Master of the Puppets. So if you remember that, if you've done that solo before, this is pretty much exactly the same idea, but we're in E minor this time. So what I'm doing for the first 3 notes of this idea, I'm playing 15, 14, 12 on the 1st string, and then I stretch out and I play 17, 15, 12 on the 1st string. So all together, I want to do that group of 6 notes 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then at the end of that, I want to do a bend on 15 at the 2nd string. We do 2, and then we do 4 quickish ones. So it goes 1. And that's pretty much the gist of the first section. We've got that sort of tritone thing to lead up, that shreddy little idea 8 times, and then those bends. So let's do it relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again with some tabs. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time with some tabs. Okay, let's take a look at the second section. This is going to start off with a pretty simple bluesy idea, and we want to play this idea 8 times as well. So I'm going to start off with a flat pointer across 12 of the 1st and 12 of the 2nd. I play the 12 of the 1st string, and then I do sort of a light economy pick sweep idea, and I pull off from 15 to 12 on the 2nd, and then I want to do a big bend on 14 of the 3rd. And I do that whole idea 8 times in a row. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we work into a very sort of creeping death sort of style run. So I want to have a leading note from 12 of the 1st string. So I sort of breathe in. Very similar to some Ride the Lightning kind of stuff. So I want to be playing the 12. And then after that, I'm going to lead into this phrase. I've got to pull off from 15 to 12 of the 1st, and then 15 to 12 on the 2nd, working up just basically an E minor pentatonic. Then I jump to 14 of the 3rd, and back down to 12 of the 2nd. Now I'm going to put that leading note in front of it. Okay, let's work through the next 6 notes. There's going to be a very similar idea to what we had, just working up from the next stage of the pentatonic. So what I want to do is do a pull off from 15 to 12 on the 2nd string, 14 to 12 on the 3rd, and then jump to 14 of the 4th, back down to 12 of the 3rd. So I'm going to do these 2 groups of 6 back to back. Now the leading note, and then it goes. So what I've got here is 2 pull-offs in a row, Still working down the pentatonic. 14 to 12 is a pull off on the third, 14 to 12 is a pull off on the fourth, and then I pick the last three notes. So what I'm doing here is playing 14, 12, 10 on the fifth string. So all together. Okay, then we work into the last little chunk, which is sort of over in a bit more of a B minor area. Alright, so what I want to do here is start off with a hammer on from 5 to 7 on the 6th string, and I do the same thing on the 5th string, but then I want to slide that 7th fret over to 9. And then I want to jump to, what's that, 7 of the 4th string. Then I go. So what I've got for that next group, sort of 2 more groups of 3, I'm doing a pull off from 9 to 7 on the 4th, and jumping to 9 of the 5th. Then to finish that, I want to do a hammer on from 7 to 9 on the 4th string, and then jump to 7 of the 3rd. So I'll do that whole section again. At the end of that, I've just got 3 angry bends on 9 of the 3rd string. Sorry. Alright, let's take it from the pull-offy riff, bluesy riff at the start of this section. We'll do it all relatively slowly and then again with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, so the start of the third section is going to have a leading note, 19 of the first string, and then we're going to play 22 and then 5 19s after that. So it's going to be sort of 6 notes into that. So we've got the leading group, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that little group of 6 that we're leading from the 22, I want to do 6 of those in a row. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then, so I got 2 full tone bends from 22 after that on the first string. Then we'll work through some pentatonic runs. This is basically B minor, but I guess up on that higher octave. So I've got a leading note again, and then we'll work through a couple of triplet runs. So let's work through the first one slowly. I'm going to do a pull off from 22 to 19 of the first, and then jump to 22 of the second string. Okay, now the next triplet is from 19 of the first, and then a pull off from 22 to 19 on the second string. So let's do that together. Okay, then just continuing up the B minor pentatonic, 22 to 19 on the second, and then 21 of the third. Then to lead back up again, so the final triplet of this little group is going 19 to 22 as a hammer on the second string, back to 19 of the first. So all together with the leading note and... Okay, now the next one is very similar, but I guess it's kind of closer to that creeping death style run that we had in section 2. So I'll go. So what's different is we're not backtracking as quickly. So I'm going 22 to 19 on the first string and the second is pull-offs. Then I jump to 21 of the third, back down to 19 of the second string. Okay, and then I follow that up with this. So what I've got here is 22 to 19 again, then 21 of the third, and then I just reverse my steps. 19, 22 on the second to 19 of the first. So it'll go, which I think was exactly the same in the last group. So I'll play them both back to back. Okay, now the next bit we do is going to be sort of similar to the creeping death style idea, but I climb a little bit further. So I go, those first 6 notes are the same. 22, 19 on the first and second string, jumping to 21 on the third, back down to the 19. Hopefully that all makes sense. And then I go. So what I've got here for this last little chunk is 22 to 19 on the second string, 21 to 19 on the third, then 21 of the fourth, and then back down to 19 of the third. So I go. And at the end of that, I've got 3 bends on 21 of the third. So I'll go. So let's take it from the start. I want to go from the 19 leading note and then that quick little picking idea we had from 22 to 19. We'll do the whole thing relatively slowly and then again with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, let's take a look at the last section. I want to have, once again, a leading note from 12 of the first string. And then I'm going to pluck 15 and pull off to 12. And then do 14 to 12 with a pull off. And then the last two notes of that little chunk will go 14 of the second back down to 12. So let's think of that first pointer as a leading note. And then as soon as we hit the 15, we're working with a group of 6. And I want to do this group of 6 notes 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then after that I work into this phrase. So it's a pretty simple idea. I'm just doing one pick per triplet and then just letting the legato do the rest. So the initial idea that I had was 19 to 15 to open on the first string. So I pluck the 19. The open note initially does sound strange slowly, but when you speed it up, it sounds pretty cool. So I'm playing the 19, pulling off to the 15, pulling off to the open note, and I want to do 8 of these in a row. Okay, then the same idea, 17, 14 to open on the first string still, and we want to do 8 of these. I do exactly the same idea from 22 to 19 to an open note, but I only do 4 of these. At the end of that, I want to bend 22 of the first string. I'm going to do 2 slow ones. And then 1 more on the fade when the solo sort of starts fading out where you get back into that riff again. So we're going to go. And you can let that sort of fade off into the distance. So let's try and do the whole section relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the second solo from the Four Horsemen by Metallica. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. I'll catch you real soon.